Well, it's a major source of information. Without it, there'd be an awful lot of things we wouldn't know at all. For example, without the Gospels, we'd only know 1 or 2 paragraphs about Jesus, and they wouldn't be terribly interesting. We tend to think of the Bible as just one book, but it wasn't for more than a century that they started to be gathered together into a standard collection. There are the 4 Gospels. Now that's 4 partially independent sources of information about Jesus. They're certainly not just copying from each other. There's the Book of Acts, written by the same person as Luke's Gospel, which is actually the only source we have about the first 25 or so years of the existence of Christianity, the only direct evidence at all. Without it, we'd really be in the dark. And then there are miscellaneous letters from various great Christian leaders to various of their congregations, which, after the letters were used in the congregation, read aloud or whatever, occasionally people would say, oh look, we know that Paul or Peter wrote a letter to you, could we have a copy of that? And then they were eventually collected together and put between covers. If you want to know how the Roman Empire looked to those who it governed, then books like the Gospels and Acts are really one of the very best sources of information. They give the view from underneath. Most of the Roman and Greek historians only talk about affairs from the top, from the capital, from the emperor. But in the Gospels and Acts and in the letters we get the view of much more ordinary people, and that's immensely useful.